Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. And my button is still all the way over here. But, yeah, it'd be like that. So, hi, everybody. A very pleasant good evening to you, wherever you may be tonight. My name is Real FRG. You can find me as Clint on the internet.
My name is Eric Gilo. You can find me at EEULAU on Twitter and Instagram. Just happy to be here. Thanks for the opportunity here. This is the big call-up.
The big call-up. Yeah, he got his September call-up again in August.
Yeah.
Another cup of coffee or a cup of Hornitos. So, shout out. But guys, before we get into the show, we got to welcome you again. Welcome to Blue Heaven. Cheers and thank you to our friends at Jim Beam right over here. They're going to help get us through the next hour of Dodger Talk with you guys. So go ahead, drop into the comments. Let's talk about some Dodger baseball, the latest news. We are going to be talking about them Padres. We are going to laugh at Manny Machado and his, I'm not going to say stupid. I'm going to say just unnecessary comments, you know? Bulletin board material when you got swept. It's probably not a good look. It's unnecessary. Belly and Max Muncy are on the upswing, question mark. 100 we were going to do it last week, but now we're doing our 110-ish game power rankings all around the league. And we got to talk a whole lot about Dodgers on the mend. We got some guys come back. There's a whole lot more. So before we get into the show, I do want to remind you this is a podcast. So find us on iTunes, find us on Spotify, everywhere your podcasts are available for free. We're there. Subscribe. Leave a 19-star review. Anything you can do to help us out, really appreciate it. And again, drop into the comments. Let us start finding some good comments. You find anything juicy and delicious?
Everyone's chiming in. You know, I forgot Brooks' line, but let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation from with the name of the city. I think I said zip code one time, and guys, I'm not a very smart man. I don't know places by zip code. I barely know the zip code from my own house. Let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation from tonight, and we'll dive in the comments here. Josh, get Dodgers undefeated with Joey Gallo. Yankees winless without Joey Gallo. Just saying. They may have won the trade deadline.
The trade deadline. Michael asking, where is Brooke? Is he with his mommy? No, Brooke is away tonight. He has to take care of a personal matter. Doug and producer Cody, they are out at the Kershaw Ping Pong Challenge at Dodger Stadium. We were going to try to pull them in for, when we're doing this, but it just seemed like a lot of effort to try to make that go seamlessly. So we'll check in with them later this week on designated Twitter and the other thing, Roundtable,
which is now Blue Heaven Roundtable, rebranded. Also on YouTube. Make sure to check it out if you haven't already. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And it's a fantastic place.
And this week, our friend Michael Duarte, NBC, is going to be joining us in the studio. So we're going to talk about some good stuff with that guy.
Mojito says, if D Nation has 1 million fans, I'm one of them. If D Nation has only one fan, then that fan is me. If D Nation has no fans, then I'm not on this earth. If the world is against D Nation, I'm against the world. Wow. I mean, that is the kind of support you just love to see. Shout out to you. So far, comment of the show. It's early, but that's a damn good comment. We appreciate the support.
I'm going to take another drink. Okay. That applause goes on way too long. But
cheers to you, Mojito.
Cheers to that right there. That's beautiful. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. Maybe that's the tequila. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
that's apple juice.
Hornitos is just fantastic tequila, I got to say. All right, so we have James Winna from Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, thank you for staying up tonight. You know, you could be watching a Dodger game. Instead, you're watching us. We appreciate that.
There's no Dodger game tonight.
No, I know. I said instead of watching the Dodger game.
But there's.
I meant like we're his crappy replacement. In lieu of a Dodger game, you get to watch us.
Fully understand. Juice Neros in the stream on YouTube saying we busted on Sham Diego's face. Ooh.
I ain't gonna be here.
Yeah. Leslie Taylor's in the stream. Good to see you, Leslie. As always, below the heavens with a Z. Machado, clown. It's a clown question, bro.
Mayo 1965 Mike from Staunton, Virginia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. 60-year Dodger fan. Shout out to you, and thanks for coming by.
The Villa family checking in from Santa Fe, New Mexico. We got Jen checking in from PA. We've seen a few comments about about Dustin May and when he's coming back. We will get into Dustin May a little bit later in the show, so do stay with us. Junior Martin, I'm assuming. Junior Martin's checking in from Inglewood, not too far down the road from here. Juan Rivera former Dodger, checking in from the Coachella Valley.
Oh.
Adriana
919, Manny ain't no Johnny Hustle. Machado is a little biatch when he loses. Oh,
He really is.
coming in hot off the top rope there. I like it. It's early. We didn't even get the crowd going yet, and people are just already going for it. I really respect that. God, I knew I was going to pull a name I was going to struggle with.
You're bad with names.
Virgo Gal 04 from Phoenix. I don't even want to say what I thought it was. From Phoenix, Arizona. Really just the second home of the Dodgers, I think, is Phoenix, Arizona, and we'd love having you on the show. Soldier Boy 3064, I could read that name. Lompoc, California. Shout out to the 805. Machado's just a little lazy and jogs in the field too much for me. That's probably the most PG. That's like a G-rated way to say it, and I think the two guys at this table would agree with you.
Keep it G. Keep it G. Damien says, what do y'all think of the Dodgers bringing up Andre Jackson and optioning Miguel Vargas? They weren't directly correlated to one another. Miguel Vargas' time was up here. JT's coming back tomorrow, Tuesday. If you're listening, it's today. If you're listening as an audio-only podcast. Andre Jackson is because Yency Almonte is hurt right now. He's on the sideline. He's not too worried about his elbow at the moment, but he's still going to be sidelined for a couple of weeks. Of course, Kershaw's sidelined for at least a couple of weeks, and we're going to get more into that a little bit later in the show. Spencer Ward saying Clint versus Ben Verlander celebrity boxing match. I wasn't trying to straight up shade the guy or talk mad caca, but there's a perception of the man that's fairly warranted. There are a lot of folks. Again, I ain't got time to look at everything this guy posts or tweets or writes about. You do you, Fox News man, whatever you need to do, cool. I ain't got that kind of time. But if you see enough people pointing out the old, it sure is interesting that Ben Verlander really likes these Astros on his power rankings. I don't know. I'm just it's none of my business.
Yeah, I think he does have some good takes, but it is, it's a tough look when you have your older brother's team, who, let's be honest, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he worked hard. His last name's probably a reason he already is where he is at such a young age. I don't know, but hey, I'm jealous. Seems like he has a really good gig, although being here right now is the best gig I could ever ask for. But we'll get into some a tiny bit more Ben Verlander, not a lot bit more. It's not what we do here. This isn't an Astros coverage show. We don't do that. We maybe dip a little bit deep in the Padres, but look, we just swept the guys over the weekend, and you had some thoughts apparently about the home plate umps that we haven't really even talked about yet.
Yeah, I know you were a little man about town. You couldn't see the games as much, but man, the Dodgers got a little help over the weekend. But let's get into the base. Let's get into the start of our first real, true, delicious segment on today's show. How about them Padres? How about them Dodgers? The Dodgers sweep the San Diego Padres very convincingly. Usually, you would have kind of felt in years past the Dodgers wouldn't have got it up for that series. It's usually they go and lose the first game, and then the Padres just chatter. It's been like that for the last couple of years. This year, Dodgers have really handed their ass.
They have owned them.
Yeah.
They have absolutely owned them this year, and also too, they make all those big trades. Josh Hader, Josh Bell, some guy named Juan Soto. They bring in Brandon Drury, who, God, the one that got away from me personally, the Hanser Alberto upgrade.
He was big.
JD Martinez and Brandon Drury are my guys. But anyway, they come in with a lot of expectations into this weekend series. They come in, they're double digits games. I think they started out 12 back on Friday night. I caught most of each of the games, which was not well received by some of the wedding party, but you got to do what you got to do. I got a job to do here, people, and I'm committed to my craft.
Damn right.
Fell just so short of expectations and really just got smacked. Just got absolutely smacked. I think that, 21-4 was the total runs between the two teams. It wasn't, I think Sunday was probably the most competitive. They did come back on Saturday, but just to start it off on Friday night, it's just got to be so damn deflating. We do have a super chat from below the heavens. Who starts game 1-2 of playoffs started today?
If it's today, you can't not say it's, Tony and Urias, just because they are. Tyler Anderson, wholly deserving, but Julio's been there. He's done that. Sure, Tony had a down July, but he's still, an all-star pitcher. He was leading baseball in ERA for a long stretch of time, and he likes cats.
He loves cats.
Much to the chagrin of Rick Monday.
Great to see him have a bounce-back start against what now I think a lot of people consider the most talented batting order in baseball. Certainly a lot of people.
Very narrow-minded.
I think I would pitch Julio Urias game 1, and I would go Gonsolin 2. I don't know if I want the pressure on Gonsolin of a game 1.
I also kind of wonder. I think now Tony can handle it. We know Julio can. I think now Tony can handle it because I would worry more about
Gonsolin with them down 1-0.
Let's assume, it's a short series. There's a lot more pressure than being 0-0 than down 1-0, I feel. And Julio can handle that. Tony's made massive strides this year, but I think also it kind of depends on the team. It really does depend on the team. But those are the two guys. To answer the question, thank you for the super chat. The two guys I go with are those guys. And Tyler Anderson's there to help out as needed.
Yeah, I think Tyler Anderson's kind of your, hey, if Gonsolin falls apart in like 2 2/3 innings, you're probably pulling the trigger on old Mr. Duck.
You really love the Mr. Duck.
I love Mr. Duck.
You call him Mr. Duck, but yet you don't call Clayton Minotaur.
It's inconsistent on my part, and I apologize to the audience. I'll try to do better. I'll try to do the best I can.
We got a good, a decent comment here, I think, or good. I read part of it. Alex saying I don't want inexperienced pitchers to pitch on the road. That's another thing to take into consideration on the road, but the Dodgers are the best team in baseball.
Probably not going to be on the road.
They're not going to start on the road
unless something goes horribly wrong.
But reasonable. If it's on the road, definitely going Julio. He don't care.
No, he doesn't, and he's been awesome. He's been great
cool whip
for the last month and a half, and this is a huge long shot. I think Sandy L controversy on the Marlins is the NL Cy Young favorite. He deserves it. He should be, but if he has a couple bad starts, Urias picks up some more wins because voters care about that kind of stuff. I think he could make a late push into that top 5 NL Cy Young category. I think Urias has been that kind of guy. He's done it very quietly. You have all the fanfare with Gonsolin and Kershaw, which is all deserved. But I'm starting to feel it in my bones a little bit here. A little Urias NL Cy Young push. I think he's motivated from that snub, and most importantly, the numbers, how he's performed, how he's pitching right now. I mean, he is very quietly been the Dodgers' best starter for the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks, coming up in big spots. And by the way, most importantly, well, not most importantly, but the dude crushes the Giants. He always gets up for the Giants. He's talked about how he's more focused with the Giants. He needs to figure out how to be that focused, when you play the Rockies in LA. But anyway, I would not be surprised to see Urias have a nice little, the Uri Ace, as our friend Doug McCain likes to say, have a little Cy Young push. That's my hot take. That's not really hot.
Popping in from Twitch, our friend Assailed Loner saying, got to have some faith in the guys that get you there, that got you there. And that's something I feel like the Dodgers don't do quite often, especially once you get into the postseason. Dave does not like, you don't see a whole lot of Phil Bickfords. I think this year, Evan Phillips has finally earned it. Years past, probably not going to get that kind of stuff. And the same way, like, they didn't have faith in Alex Wood, even though he had a phenomenal year. In, 18? He was great, but he barely, got into a game.
I mean, he was the only guy. He was the only guy to perform at Minute Maid, which I think is always a story people forget. But I think Vesey is in that conversation too with Phillips of guys they trust. I think Yency Almonte, Yency Almonte is in that conversation as well once he gets back from the IL.
But starting pitching wise, you can't not put a little bit of faith, a little bit of trust into Anthony Gonsolin, the Catman, and Tyler Anderson as well. You got some good options. But back to them sad Padres, the Sadres, if you're trying to say it funky. Dodgers they didn't just, beat them handily this weekend, which they did. They've, beat down on them all season long. 51. They're outscoring them 51-18 on the year. What is it? 7-2, I think now. 8-2 on the year.
7-2.
The Dodgers are good, in case y'all didn't know. It's fine. It's fine for the Dodgers to be good. It's fine for the Padres to be good, but not as good as the Dodgers. Just don't tell that to Manny Machado, who has problems being put on the spotlight.
He's got some issues.
When his team isn't doing too good. Good question right there from Fernie, by the way. We're peaking at the wrong time. I mean, In theory, yes, but I guess we won't really know until October.
It's a fantastic point. I mean, this is not, you can't win championships in early August, but it's great to see this team, what they put together. You do worry a little bit if they're peaking, except with a team like this that I just think has so much goddamn experience. You got professionals. You got 3 of the most dynamic players at the top of the order. These guys have been around this team, the core of this team. We talked about chemistry so much before the trade deadline and why bringing in Juan Soto could have had an effect on the team chemistry. Not the only reason you don't do the deal, obviously, but these guys have all been there. They were also all there when the team just absolutely nosedived in 2018 late there. So I think they've been through it all. So I'm not really worried. And I think if you read all the press clippings, those guys don't put out bulletin board material every game. It's like, oh, we're just worried about one game. It's a very lunch pail team. So they probably are peaking a little too early, but I'm not overly concerned.
This is also a team. I mean, Dodgers went 21-5 in July. Fairly weak schedule. Cubs, a whole bunch against the Rockies.
Yeah.
Not a strong schedule for sure, but you still got to beat these teams. And, the Padres are going to get their shot. The Dodgers are going to get a shot to play, hopefully, maybe some stronger teams. We're going to feel out if they can handle, the tough spot. But, I mean,
they still have a great winning percentage against teams over 500.
I think
they're 35 and
They've
17.
handled everybody. They've handled every opportunity, every opponent, and every bit of adversity so far well this season. Who does not handle adversity well, though? Back to Manny Machado. Mr. Machado had himself a bad optics weekend. Like you said in our pre-show Instagram Live, borrowing from the incomparable John Boy, Jimmy said, or John Boy Media said, the player got disconnected because he was just strutting to go get after a ball that got by him. Of course, Mookie took advantage because Mookie is a phenomenal baseball player, and you guys really, really need to just watch this dude. We all do, but really intently watch the baseball IQ of Marcus Lynn Betts. But Johnny Hustle rears his ugly head at Dodger Stadium, looks bad. You can tell he was embarrassed by it. Then they go out and get swept. And I'm Manny effing Machado. He
is what he said.
Proudly proclaims to that was his retort to a question of is this a team you should worry about? Why should I worry about them? Because they're good. Yeah, I'm Manny Machado. Okay. Did that work for you this weekend? By the way, Manny effing Machado struggle busting since June.
Yeah, it's been
219 since the start of June. Again, admittedly, nowhere near 100% since rolling his ankle. Very ugly play. Honestly surprised he's in there playing. Very shocked he's playing any defense. But, there's just absolutely no reason to add fuel to the fire. His team doesn't need that. They already have enough of a massive spotlight on them with all of the moves, with the Eric Hosmer drama, which was incredible, with acquiring one of the most elite talents in the game today, and you just shined a spotlight on your team.
It's just such an easy question to make a not headline. It's they had a great 3 games. We have what is it? We have 9 more games against them. They're 8-2 against the Padres. By the way, I looked it up. I said yes to 7-2. That's my fault. That's on me, folks. I'm sorry.
I also said 8-2. I think so.
Yeah, you get the records right when you get the total number of games right. It's such an easy question to say. Yep, they had a great weekend. We got plenty of games left against them. We know what we have in our clubhouse. We're going to adjust. We have some new faces here. But instead, he just says, "I'm Manny effing Machado." And I'm all
the worst non-answer you can give.
Yeah, I'm all for the panache. I'm all for the gravitas. I'm all for it. But maybe not when your team's 15 and a half games down. You just traded 17 farm systems to get 4 players. Maybe have a little bit of a sense of the moment. And also, I think Machado is probably going to end up being a Hall of Famer. But at the moment, hasn't won an MVP, hasn't won a World Series, had an opportunity to do so with the Dodgers. But if Mike Trout had said, "I'm Mike effing Trout," I would have been like, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
that makes sense."
And that would have been followed.
You've done a lot. A lot of things. At least
I would
in the regular
like to
season.
get out of Anaheim, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just such a poor answer, and I think it's still emblematic of you thought a lot of that stuff left with Jace Tingler when they cut him loose. They brought in a professional like Bob Melvin, and I'm all for the swag. But, maybe hold off when you're not 15 and a half games back and you just got swept. And you had probably the worst, laziest play we've seen all year.
There is a time and a place to have the bravado out there. That was not the time or the place. It's bad optics. You're like we said, your team is trying to create its new identity. You just got swept. You already look bad. You have a history in this league of saying or doing dumb things like stomping on a player in the NLCS or turning a double into a single in the World effing Series.
He had to sit down to fix his public perception, and he bombed it. He had the Diane Sawyer interview. Ken Rosenthal was the Diane Sawyer one-on-one. You know what? We're going to give him this PR thing. We're going to get this guy right. I know your marriage fell apart, but, kid, I realized what I did wrong. It's like, no, he says, I'm no Johnny Hustle. And it was a tough moment for Dodger fans. And I think that interview is a big, big, big reason why Dodgers fans, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, were not upset to see him go elsewhere and not upset to see the Dodgers sign him. And at the time, JT was a pretty serviceable third baseman still.
On the other side of the locker room, what you got?
Sal, Manny, Spaghetti Legs, Machado.
Oof.
On the other side of the locker room.
On the other side of the locker room there, Will Myers, long time. I am shocked to see this is year 8 of Will Myers in San Diego, which they are still just absolutely are alive, but they're rolling over in their grave over signing that or making that deal happen. Will, though, Mr. Myers, if you're nasty, he took the smart approach to all of the questions, which was like, hey, they're a really good team. The kind of Dodger approach of, we just got to worry about ourselves. But he threw in something that's 100% accurate. And I think smart Padres fans would agree. Quote, I think we put too much emphasis on them, on the Dodgers. There is way too much emphasis. We've seen since 20, the Padres try to build a team specifically to beat the Dodgers instead of just being the best version of a baseball team they possibly can. They are trying to play chess with Andrew Friedman. You was not going to win that
with the chess master. No, they're trying to slay the dragon, as their owner Peter Seidler said on the Sunday Night Baseball broadcast, which I thought was a candid comment. I actually kind of appreciate that one because he's the owner and not a player recovering from getting swept. I think who Manny Machado really needs to think about and watch is Russell Wilson and the Dodgers. That is how you do not answer anything in the interview questions. But no, the Dodgers look great, and it's just 3 games in the middle of August, but it still showed you that despite, I think the San Diego Padres rotation is very, very talented. Mm-hmm. I know the outcomes, the performance has not always been there, but it does prove that, yes, baseball is mostly numbers, but chemistry is really, really important. And I think this Padres team is going to look better when the Dodgers play them, but the Dodgers are going to look better too, just because of the amount of impact guys they have coming off. You're talking about Dustin May, you're talking about Justin Turner, you're talking about Blake Treinen, you're talking about Brusdar Graterol, which I cannot wait to see Graterol pitch to Machado in a high leverage situation.
Again.
You have all that coming up. But yeah, look, it was a great cap off to a really emotional week for Dodgers fans, obviously, and I think it's terrible that Vin Scully passed away, but to sweep the Giants, you lose Kershaw, then you sweep the Padres. I mean, it was as good of a rough week as it could have been for the Dodgers.
Absolutely. And, altogether, enough about brown heaven. Let's get back to blue heaven here.
Brown heaven.
It's important to note this breaking news, but, the Padres have their growing pains right now. But the Dodgers are very, very, very good at baseball. They're an extremely good baseball team. They are well built. They have been through the rungs. They found the right pieces. I got crap in early in spring training when I said I think they won the offseason in getting Freddie over Corey because it's a massive improvement and just the at bat quality. Corey Seager, great player,
hell of a baseball player.
He didn't fit what this team needed anymore in a first pitch ground out. I'm gonna chop out lazily to first base or second base quite often. You needed the most professional hitter possibly in baseball, and that is Fredward Freeman.
I can't believe they continue to shift on him. I know that's a Rick Monday comment on AM 570, but it's like the guy leads in oppo hits because he'll take the single.
Yeah.
It's the whole Patrick Mahomes argument, right? It's like, oh, you won't throw underneath. It's like, yeah, Freddie Freeman is the opposite. He's like, yes, I will take the oppo single every day of the week. I will hit 2 or 3 a game. I do not care. Yes, the slugging's down. You'd like to see it up, but he is a professional hitter. He sees a lot of pitches.
He's all the cliches,
and
really.
he's at his best with runners in scoring position. I mean, you look at the stats. Doc even said it, right? He said, if I had one batter to put in, I mean, this isn't exactly what he said. I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, I want Freddie with runners in scoring position. That is our best hitter with a guy on second. And you see it every night. And it's one of those things, like we take Mookie Betts for granted. I feel like we take Freddie Freeman for granted. The guy's, it's his first year. You look at the box score, and it's like every night, it's like, he's 3 for 5 again. He's 4 for 5. Oh, he's 2 for 3 with 2 walks.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of take it for granted.
And you look at the weekend. I mean, not the rapist, but the weekend series against them Padres. MTF, as I'm calling them, Mookie, Trea, Freddie. They hit 400 at the top of the lineup. You don't get that often. Mookie, 7 hits against the show pods. Altogether, 14 for 35. They just, I don't remember exactly the way I said it, but I was talking to a friend on the way here earlier today, and we tend to talk Dodgers before because I like to get a lot of ideas from him because he's the kind of frantic Dodger fan where everything could, if they give up one home run, it's they got a DFA Tony Gonsolin or whatever. You know?
When Twitter melted when they lost 2 games to the Nationals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That type of guy. Yep. We love those types. No,
love those fans though.
Not DTF, MTF, but Monday through Friday, getting it done. I forgot what I was. I was saying like what we saw this weekend from the Dodgers was just a prize fighter beating on, somebody getting to a heavyweight match for the first time.
They're probably
Padres,
not ready for yet.
They're not ready for it. They were trying to throw blows, and the the Dodgers were Ali this weekend. Prime Ali.
Whoa.
They were getting it done.
Like it. I like
there
we're
was
getting
jabs.
boxing.
There was the proper right hooks. They stung. What is it? Float like a butterfly, sting like my pea. They did everything they were supposed to do to win ball games.
And did the classic Dodgers thing when any time the Padres made a mistake, the Dodgers pounced.
And the
every
Dodgers
time.
didn't play the cleanest game, especially on, what was it, the Saturday game was not the cleanest game, but they still found a way to do it. Will Smith, throw that guy in there. 5 hits against these Padres over the weekend. Best number 4 hitter in baseball all of a sudden.
Warming up. Yeah, I mean, another guy you just don't really think about. Obviously, you think about MTF, Monday through Friday, a lot. I think the other thing that's great about having Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Trea Turner, and who knows how long it's going to happen. Hopefully an extension's coming for Trea Turner, but we're going to cover that on a different show. They complement each other all really well.
Oh, yeah.
Like Trea can hit home runs, but he's a speed guy. He's a high contact guy. Betts, your leadoff hitter, is actually probably, I think, has the lowest contact rate on balls in the zone. Definitely has the lowest batting average. But you look at all of it, and they just all fit so well together. Because you have Betts with the slug at the top of the order.
Yeah.
You have him with the speed. Then you have Trea Turner, who can also slug and get on base. And you have Freddie Freeman, who can just adjust based upon what those 2 hitters do each time through the order. So it's just it's a absolute luxury to have it, and we don't know how long it's going to last, so just enjoy it, kids, because it's the best 1, 2, 3 hitters in baseball.
And Freddie's been in an enviable position all season long because he's either had Mookie Betts hitting in front of him or Trea Turner. And Trea Turner at first with it's you're trying to pitch and you're worried about this guy. You're going to get a lot of fastballs that Freddie can just eat up and throw anywhere. So
and then Oppo single now means that Trea Turner's at third if he gets a good lead.
This is an incredibly fun time in Dodgers baseball that we've seen some incredible streaks from this team. The 48 was a 48-3, 42-3 back in 13.
43 and 7,
43 and whatever it was. We've seen that. 17 had some great streaks. 18 they brought themselves back to life, going something like 42 and 5. I forget the numbers. I'm old, but what we're seeing right now, like then it was like, oh man, this is incredible. Now it's just like, that's what they do. They just come here, they beat you, they shake your mama's hand, and they leave.
Yeah, and then when they lose 2 games against the Nationals, the sky is falling. That's how. Anthony Keene brings up a good thing. Freddie was underrated, man.
42-8. Thank you, Jay.
Shout out to Jay Sands. Anthony Keene, Freddie was underrated. Can run. The comments scroll down the other monitor. That was a rookie mistake. But Anthony Keene, Freddie was underrated, man. Dude runs, hits, and plays every single damn day. Totally left that out. He posts. Him and Trea Turner have been playing every single game for the Dodgers. There's not a ton of teams that can say their two of their best players are posting like those guys are.
Yeah, this is, again, incredibly fun time. And what made this weekend against the rival Padres so big? How about Max Muncy and Cody Bellinger? Both these dudes, they seem at the moment, small sample size, they seem to be at the moment that they be on the upswing right now. You got Muncy with 3 hits in 2 games he played. He did not play the Friday game against Manny, but double Bamba, 12 over 1,200 OPS over the weekend, 303 average over his arbitrary 9 last games, 944 OPS, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 6 ribs. That's good. Cody
hasn't been walking a ton, which is interesting for Muncy. He's attacking pitches, and I have been holding on to my Max Muncy stock. It's been hurting my portfolio. I got my broker calling me every day, do you want to sell this stock? And no, I still think that elbow is going to get better. I know you and Brooke have been a little more critical, which I think is deserved when you look at all the numbers. You got a little taste of it. It's a very small sample size, but you got a little taste of, once again, here's what this lineup looks like with Max Muncy hitting. And Cody Bellinger, 5 for 10 this series, 2 bombs, obviously hit 2 bombas last night. And 1, you got the incredible Juan Soto, which I like the mic'd up. Juan Soto was the perfect guy, obviously, to mic up. The Padres just traded for him. But you have Juan Soto just stay in. It's like, it's not going to stay in. But it was funny because it's probably what Juan Soto says every time. It was good to get a professional outfielder's reaction to just watching a home run that he can't even try to field because, it was to left center. But yeah, Cody looks great. Are you buying the swing change? Because there's some fans out there that I'm talking about a swing change for Bellinger. I mean, that guy, that guy changes swings a lot.
I have lived doing this. Cody debuted in 17. I've been doing this since 18. I've been
doing this since 18.
Through your lion's share, everything you could, every swing change, every dumb little thing, we figured it out. Well, he's been working all offseason with Brant Brown and Aaron Bates in Arizona. I'm never going to buy a Cody Bellinger swing change. We saw a swing change or adjustment at the end of last season in the postseason, and he wasn't going for slug. He was just poking the ball there, maybe doing his kind of best Freddie Freeman impression, trying to go up the middle. I like what I'm seeing. I have hope, but I have been hurt by Cody Bellinger over these last 4 or 5 years.
It's also the quintessential baseball interview when X-player has 4 good games. It's like, I've been working in the cage. I've been wiggling my big toe when the pitch comes in on the high heat, and it's been working out for me. Like, I think we would all like to see a couple months of Bellinger after it's been, we rattle it off, I think, every episode, but the back half of his MVP year in 2019, then 2020, 2021 was obviously horrendous, and then now most of 2022 has been rough. So I think we need to see a little bit more of it. He could also just be, or he is, one of those guys who's incredible on defense, and he'll win you a couple games a year by hitting some bombs, and the average is never going to look good. He's not a walk guy anymore. He already has more strikeouts this year than he did in all of his MVP season.
Oof. Importantly, or I guess I should say luckily, the Dodgers have a catcher that can slug. It's not that guy you stash at 8 or now 9. It's not Austin Barnes is the starting catcher. So you can kind of get away.
It's not Rod Barajas.
It's not Rod Barajas. You can get away with having Cody batting 8, batting 9, and finding his way, feeling his way through whether or not he's going to be a valuable asset at the plate come October, which is the most important part. But
that's a great point. I mean, can you imagine if Bellinger was on, let's say he was on the Pirates and won an MVP. He was imagine Andrew McCutchen if Andrew McCutchen hit 162 for a season. I mean, it would just be a train wreck, but because of the depth of this order, to your point, it's not that big of a deal. Alex Renteria trying to get some brownie points here with my man, Clint Pasillas. Lamb over Gallo. If they want a left-handed batter off the bench, then just keep Lamb in your prospect.
I will remember.
I mean, you fished for it. I read it, and we're still going to appreciate it. I mean, not me so much. It was just kind of like when you start off Pokemon, and I took Charmander, and that was Kevin Pillar, and you took Squirtle, and your life has been much easier for the first couple badges, and it's been Rake Lamb.
You know, one thing I'm gonna say. One thing I'm annoyed about making
me.
I'm one of the I'm one of the people who makes our lineup funds. I know a lot of people don't like them. They are hard. EAD. I never use lamb chop.
How do we miss that? We used rack of lamb.
Yeah,
that's the worst part. Is we used rack of lamb. Oh, Lambo. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of bites at the apple there.
Yeah. Rake lamb.
Maybe
that's one thing I miss about him. He's great for nicknames. You know, it's not Chris Taylor. Terrible.
Why you got to make fun of my boy?
No. It's hard to come up with a nickname for the most bland vanilla white man on the team.
Pacifico lover. Surf
vid
boy.
They inherently lean niche, but that is just such a niche that for anybody to know. Oh yeah, that guy likes beer, and when you say, oh, surf enthusiast at 6 a.m.
Just trying to help out here.
Well, when you make some lineup funds, you can go ahead.
I've made like 2 of the 111. My percentage of doing lineup fun is, I think, better than Cody's batting average with runners in scoring position. I'm pretty sure. Swollen sausage, glue head, exclamation point. Don't know. That was just the first comment that I saw.
Attaboy. I saw one right here. Let's try to scroll up there because we usually have like 2 different. I have 2 different streams of comments.
Oh, lamb silencer from Kim Kanar. How do we miss that one? Silence of the Lambs. Anyway,
can we put the lotion in the basket or something like that? Dong, my boy Dong. I love you, Dong. I love me some Dong. Says Clint, those lineup funds are 1,000% awesome. Thank you for the validation of making my dreams come true. Not Mia, though, but Mira. I'm sorry, I'm going to mess up your name, but Ms. Jones. Back onto Cody for a second, and I'm sure she's heard Mierda is her name quite often in her life, and I apologize. It's just easy to read it that way. But Myra, I'm going to say Myra says Cody is hitting the mistakes. Anything low and outside, and he's not chasing outside. That is a big change to what Cody is to get us back on track to what Cody is doing and how Cody's having a little bit of success over these last 11 games. It's less swing change or what he's doing. I think he talked about having like his legs and his body in a better position to not. I think he's trying not to dip and drop as much and probably keep the eye line so he can actually see the ball and it's not going to be like, oh, there it goes. But all of that together, I'll ask you the same question you asked me. Like, are you kind of buying? Are you buying or selling the swing changes right now?
No, I want to. I really want to.
That's a sell.
It's like when your friend starts a SoundCloud album and you really want to like it.
Do people still use SoundCloud?
I used to use it for my podcast. That tells you all you need to know about me back in the day. I wasn't rapping, don't worry, though. And you really want to like it. You want to give them a chance. And it's just not good. And I'm just not buying the Bellinger swing change. I need to see a couple of months of it. I need to see him lay off the low and inside back foot breaking ball, which pretty much Justin Verlander just showed the entire league that he couldn't hit. Justin Kim 2000 says, Eric, who's your favorite Dodgers prospect? If you want some great prospect coverage, I would check out Dodgers Nation YouTube TV. Doug McCain and our buddy Tim Rogers do a great job of covering all of the prospects for you. They dive deep. Tim knows all about those prospects, as does Doug. They have some great dialogue on there, so check those out on our YouTube channel. I'm not a huge prospect hugger. I'm not a huge prospect nerd. I'm going to go for Michael Busch just because I like his name, although he sucks at fielding. But the bat has me excited. So that's Michael Busch.
Also check out one of our sister sites, Dodgers2080.com, where Tim handles and gets up as much prospect stuff as he can there when he can. By the way, again,
a lot of photos, too, that you're not going to see anywhere else.
Subscribe to our YouTube while you're here. You're on the internet. Hit that button. Hit the like. Hit the bell. Leave a comment. Tell your mom.
Carnivorous lunar activity. I just wanted to show I could say the name correctly.
No, you did not. You said carnivorous.
Carnivorous lunar activity. Can I hear the word in a sentence? SoundCloud and a Pokemon reference in the same night. Nice. Appreciate you.
For you, the viewer, Zed, my boy Zed James Santiago, the real, used to be Filipino Kershaw. I don't know if he's doing that so much anymore, but he asked, better lineup fun creator, Clint or AJ? When AJ's knee deep into all of these games and watching and knows all the inside stuff, you can't beat AJ. You can't beat AJ. Right now, toss up?
Yeah. He's like Andrew Bynum when he's right and he's dialed in. All-star.
He's got things going on in his life. This is what I do.
He's a busy man. He's a busy man. We appreciate that.
I just sit there and wait hours for the lineup to come out. Then I'm like, oh.
What is that? Is it from Narcos? The meme everyone uses of the guy just standing around his massive mansion waiting for something. That's you waiting
Is that
for
what
the
that is?
lineup
I know
to
the
come out.
meme, but I don't know. I don't watch shows. I just barely started. This is like the Brooks segment. I just barely started The Boys last night. Me and the missus.
Good show.
Solid. First 2 episodes, good so far. I wasn't expecting to see a man wiener immediately, but here we are. But now the guy's dead.
Yeah, they kick it off.
Spoiler.
They kick it off pretty hard in the first episode there. You're not here for TV reviews, and I don't really watch TV besides sports, and I just cheat off of my girlfriend watches Cassandra Harder, lovely lady. She watches every TV show ever, so I just cheat off of her notes if she says the show is good or bad, and I learn like one thing about a character, and then when I'm in a social setting, I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah.
Amanda, she's the one with the OxyContin addiction, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, yeah, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah.
I can see you really just tried to fit in.
Yeah, and they ask a follow-up question. I'm just like, hey, do you ever check out Dodgers Nation?
Do you guys like baseball?
Do you ever watch baseball?
Oh man. One final note on the Dodgers being very good as we bounce around, which is, this is par for the course. That's what we do in this fine Blue Haven show.
It's a potpourri.
Are these Dodgers at the moment, with Muncy starting to hit a little bit of a stride, Cody Bellinger starting a little bit of a stride, MTF doing what MTF does, Will Smith being in a groove, Gavin Lux being still perfectly whelming. He's not doing everything. He's the Evan Phillips right now, the perfect middle reliever that you're like, hell yeah, but you don't need to come to his locker to be like, hey, you blew this.
He's a par shooter right now. He lays up.
Yes.
He plays it safe. He's not gunning to. He's not going to gun to get on the green in 2.
Yeah, he's
just very conservative.
Scratch to 3.
He does his job.
Are they getting better right now?
Absolutely. I mean, I think they're click. I just think at the bottom of the lineup, and I know you had some games with Trace Thompson and Lamb Chop, Rack of Lamb, Lamborghini, where they did kind of put it all together at the bottom of the lineup. But this weekend, it was just so great to see Muncy and Bellinger chip in. And hopefully when Justin Turner comes back, which is supposed to be tomorrow, which we'll dip into in a future segment later tonight, hopefully that also really helps, kind of the back end of that rotation. I love the Monday through Friday nickname. The only thing is they play well on the weekends too. So it's like, do you want to workshop this off air? Do you want to just roll with it? We'll roll with it. Anyway, Lux is perfectly whelming.
Ron Burgundy, but goddamn, I respect you.
These boys show up on the weekend. The only weird stat I kind of found is the Dodgers were 28th in walk rate this month so far, and usually they're right up there at the top.
They're getting out there and attacking. That's the big thing right now. It's a shift because I think teams adjusted to the fact that they're probably going to take strike one. But look at how much in the last week or so, 2 weeks. You're seeing Mookie in his second pitch going right back up the box. You're seeing the ball come right back at you on the camera. He's just attacking. They are they're throwing him off the rhythm. That's a Mulaney pull for you kids out there.
I like John Mulaney.
Detective Bittenbinder.
Scott Shields. Thanks for coming by, Scott Shields.
Street smarts.
Old coworker. Lux is the Jeff Fisher of the
Scott
Dodgers.
Shields, the pitcher?
No, former coworker. Good man. Lives out in Florida now, but he's from the 805 as well. Good dude. Lux is the Jeff Fisher of the Dodgers. Former Rams coach, infamous for going 7-9, 8-8. It's a nice poll. I like that poll.
Moving on, I think. We got more.
Speaking of poll, Kershaw pulled his back.
Did he? Oh, Kersh. I thought we were talking about Bellinger. We're still talking Bellinger. All these people look exactly the
Clayton
same.
Kershaw, injured. No good. No bueno.
See, now I can't use this to like pull this and put it back on YouTube. So you gotta start with the bold part. We got some general Doyer updates, particularly on the health and injury front. Clayton Kershaw hurt, as he does usually when the ping pong tournament is coming up. I think he's played in 2 of his 7 or 8 ping pong tournaments now, but hurts his back, carrying the team in San Francisco. They say he could make his return by the first week of September. They don't seem very worried. It seems like, if anything, they're being more precautious, which I am fine with, because we've said you kind of want to limit his innings. You don't need to push him. We got a 14-game lead. You got enough arms to kind of get around them. he doesn't matter right now. He's not needed right now. You just need to build him up enough to get through 4 or 5 by October 13th or whatever, a random date. So I'm fine with it.
15 and a half games up.
It wasn't the elbow.
Wasn't the elbow. However, this messaging is all very similar to May when he had his SI joint. We all had to learn what an SI joint was, hip back injury, blah, blah.
Sports Illustrated.
It's all the same thing. Nice.
Check it out, InsideTheDodgers.com.
It's all the same messaging that was from Friedman and Roberts. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
He probably won't even be on the IL. I mean, at least Roberts said he'll be on the
As they're
IL.
getting the rifle out.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Come here, Clayton.
Yeah, but
Hold the yeller in his ass anyway.
Friedman even said, this is really precautious. If it was, later in the season, he'd probably pitch through it. I just think a lot of the messaging's been the same, and then it turned into like a 3.5, 4 week thing. So early September, that's fine. They don't need him right now. They don't need to put any pressure on him. I'm just a little nervous that like first week of September is going to turn to second week of September. And then it's going to be like, we hope we can get one start before the playoffs. And that's just not great for Kershaw. And really too, I would just like to see him. We would all like to see him have just one more nice October run and just put it all to bed. Just, throw some gems like that Brewers game in the 3-game series.
Yeah.
I mean, that was chef's kiss. It was beautiful.
It's what you want. I mean,
I want to see more of those. Had a pretty good World Series too.
Yes, he also threw up a fine series against the Braves in 20.
Yeah. It's just alarming when it's his 4th back injury in his career. It's and I think his delivery obviously is a lot of key to success, the timing, the deception with the leg kick, but it looks like it's pretty stressful on his back. I'm not a doctor, but I think the guy's going to have recurring back problems.
Yeah, just get him a new back. He's got money. But how do they replace? Tell these fine people. How do we replace Kershaw in the rotation for the next couple of weeks when you have a little bit of breathing room, but you're also wary of throwing too many pitches with Tony Gonsolin and too many innings?
Yeah, I'm bummed Brooks not here because he does that Gonsolin inning bit. So good. So good.
Nobody likes that guy. He's adopted.
I miss Brooke.
I don't think he's adopted.
Brooke, come back. Ryan,
come back.
Ryan Pepois is going to fill in for Kershaw. He's had 4 starts so far this year. A lot of control issues, 6.6 walks per 9. Hasn't really been lit up. He's got the ERA, I think it's 2.79. He looks good. And I think it's a great opportunity for Ryan Pepiot to get some more starts, get his feet wet, and also for the Dodgers to kind of see what they have with him.
Yep.
And also absolutely torpedo his trade value if it doesn't go well for next year. It's going to be great to see Pepiot. They've kept him on a short leash. He really needs to work with his command and his control, but obviously the changeup is his signature pitch. You have the fastball. Maybe they use Andre Jackson as an opener with Kershaw, but the bullpen, especially losing Almonte, how they've had to flip through guys, I think they're going to be really careful about bullpen games, which thank God, because if there's one thing Dodgers Nation hates on the YouTube community tab, it is bullpen games. I shouldn't have watched that college football podcast earlier today. Option number 2, Ryan Pepiot also gives the Dodgers a bridge to not rush Mr. Dustin May.
Which it feels real easy. It feels real like it's hard, I imagine, for this front office to not rush D-May right now because you really want to see what you have. You want to see if he's going to be able to get through, 2 doubtful 3 turns in the through the lineup. You want to be able to get him through 2 and see where he's going to settle in best. You also got to make sure he's going to get out major league hitters. Not like just the Rockies, but actual big league hitters.
Not Willie Calhoun.
Not Willie Calhoun, former Dodger top prospect, traded for Yu Darvish back in the day. Anyway,
hey, great title. So yeah, I think you have Ryan Pepiot. He's kind of the Band-Aid. He's got a
give him
space
1
for
or 2
Dustin
starts. D-May comes in, and we got a comment way earlier asking us to talk about the 9th inning, and my honest to God hope is that D-May somehow becomes the closer, because even if Kimbrel rattles off like a next like a 3-week run of dominance, I don't really have that much faith in him in October. He's never proven himself in October, and we've seen his ass just sitting there in the bullpen in 13 when Go Uribe went bye-bye. We've seen him get completely passed by in the 18 World Series by Boston when they went with literally anybody but Craig Kimbrel to pitch in baseball games.
'Tis the season for fantasy football, and a lot of teams use a running back by committee. and the Dodgers will be using a closer by committee. Like we've already seen this, so I think it's just odd to me that Dodger fans, smart Dodger fans, some not so smart, freak out about like what are we gonna do about Kimbrel in October? And I think Mr. Dave Roberts has shown you how he's going to handle a closer he does not have trust in. He's going to back him every day of the regular season. He's going to tell you how much they believe in him, how much they believe in his stuff. And then when it comes time to the nitty gritty, they're going to mix and match with what they got. Now, I'm not proponating using Julio Urias like they did in that Giants series last year. I think that was kind of playing to the narrative. It reminds me of Clayton Kershaw in 2019, Game 5 against the Nationals. We can relive that one. I'm talking about putting in Evan Phillips when it makes sense. If Blake Trinan is built up, you put him in. If Vesia is on one of his Vesia heaters where he looks great for 4 or 5 games in a row, you put him in. So I do not anticipate the Dodgers just like, yep, it's the 9th inning, it's October, Craig Kimbrel's going in. Like that's just not going to happen. In my opinion.
Dropped his name a couple of times. Evan Phillips, man, that is a dude with a large
Filthy
member.
Phil.
Like he is just absolute filth. See him come in. Did you see the part where he came in bases loaded and just like...
Not once, but twice.
Yeah.
He looks great. I mean, him and Yency Almonte are the 2 Dodgers reliever reclamation project players of the year.
The preeminent, like the poster boys of this is what we can do for you.
Yeah. I mean, Almonte was a minor league contract.
Yeah.
I don't
think they were expecting all of that, but like I think with Evan's profile, they were able to see like we just throw a cutter on this guy and he's good.
Even if they get, I agree, even if they get nothing out of him, like God forbid, Yancy Almonte is out for the rest of the season. If all they got out of him was like a 1.19 ERA and 29 games pitched this year for a minor league contract, like that is fantastic.
I mean, you can honestly kind of say the same with, it was a bit more money, but Dan Hudson got them through a stretch of the season. It would have been great to keep him alive, but now you got people like Chris Martin. He's
Coldplay?
Fine. He's fine so far. I wasn't going to go there. Don't like it.
Clocks or speed of sound?
Listen, I have standards on this show.
We have lanes, Eric. We have rules, guardrails.
You gotta put in time and years like the other guy to just completely derail us with garbage.
Hey, you guys, before I even worked here, you guys were my #1 podcast to listen to on Spotify. You outdid Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo. That says a lot. Those are family members.
Really love that bump.
That song is the best stock music I've ever heard. But also on the mend,
Justin Turner, he'll be back for Game 1 against the Twins on Tuesday at Dodger Stadium. Miguel Vargas has already been shipped out to Oklahoma City.
Removed
from the active roster because Clayton Kershaw didn't want him coming to his ping pong tournament. The timing is really shitty, man. He's getting his best chains on. He's got his little earring popping. He's feeling good, and then they're like, "Hey, go home."
He probably knew yesterday.
And then he was like, "I don't have a home, Mr. Sir." He'll be back.
Can you imagine him just opening his OKC condo? Just all the lights are off. There's like frozen hot dogs melting in the sink. Anyway, so Miguel Vargas got sent back down.
Bruce Dark-Gratterall, he's on the mend, as they say. He's throwing side work. He's throwing off the bullpen at Dodger Stadium.
Whose spot is he taking?
Maybe 2 weeks away at most. I would not be surprised to see him get activated on the road, to be honest. I don't think he's going to go out on a rehab unless something goes really, really wonky. But, the Dodgers have a few options or a few opportunities, few spots they can clear on the active roster. Andre Jackson is probably the first guy, depending. I think they keep him around through Pepio's start.
Yep.
Because you want that insurance.
Pepio insurance.
Because, you're in good hands.
Andre the Giant.
Plays. Blake Trinan, he's on the mend. He's throwing. They're saying, people are talking that September is when he could make his return and not early January. It's a sixth reference.
I'm trying to figure out if Russell Westbrook gets traded first or Blake Trinan pitches a game for the Dodgers. Because I have spent an inordinate amount of time this summer having to pay attention to both of those things.
Yeah.
And there's a reason because Trinan
will be back. Mark my words. I have not been drinking. He will be back, and he's gonna be a bit of an improvement over somebody like Reyes Moranta, our beloved burrito.
The wet burrito.
Out of nowhere, Tommy Kahnle. He says he's on the radar. They say he's throwing baseballs to a catcher man, and I think he's thrown to hitters, or that's coming up real soon.
I cannot confirm that he threw to hitters yet. And I'm glad you said his name because I always screw up his name.
Yeah, I know. You screw up a lot of names. Kahnle or Bickford? No, you're pretty bad at it. Kahnle or Bickford? Which way are you? Who do you take?
I'm gonna say.
I just said that. I didn't read that you put the Bickford in there. That was the natural one
That's
for
just
me.
how it happened. I mean, that is synergy.
Synergy, corporate bondage.
Kahnle because.
Kahnle.
God damn it!
It's not gone.
Hold on, the former Yankees reliever because
There you go.
he's
My man.
inevitably going to have a forearm injury again, and they can bring Bickford back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have my cake and eat it too there. But yeah, Phil Bickford definitely on the chopping block. And if they can get, they're going to have those veteran guys, and that we talked about it last week. It's probably a reason why you may see Chris Martin, even though his numbers may not look as good, over a younger guy getting on the bullpen.
There's a really good comment there. It's like, how many? Who said that? Randy, how many players can one team have that are 2 to 3 weeks away?
Many.
Several.
Ricardo Ayala, Ventura's Bickford, baby. That guy gets it. The pride of Ventura, not Ventura.
Our friend I.E. Doyer asking, where's Dylan Betances? I have not seen where he's at. Last I looked, the numbers, not so pretty. Down at
Haven't
AAA
heard
OKC.
a word from him or Pedro Baez.
Pedro
I heard
Baez, same
got
difference.
promoted.
Yeah, he was pitching at OKC. Numbers, not pretty. If we see them, both of them, either of them, something went really wrong really quick. There's not roster spot on the 40-man. There's not a need anywhere unless somebody gets really, really dead really, really quick.
Kevin Pillar, bro?
Hold on. First on Kahnle, in postseason, do you trust the track record more of Kahnle or Dodgers Phil Bickford? Keeping in mind that these are dudes that are coming in the 4th or 5th inning of either a big blowout or of a big blowout one way or the other come October. Who do you trust a little bit more? I lean Bickford because we've actually seen him over the last 2 years. We have not seen much Thomas Kahnle.
I'm going Bickford.
My man!
I think way too often in sports we rely on the resume of guys who just had a lot of trouble with injury. And it's
Big
like,
time.
oh, well, this is the name. And it's like, yeah, well, that name hasn't done anything for a couple of years.
We got some love for Victor Gonzalez in the stream.
Oh, yeah.
You could keep in mind, so you don't get a 40-man roster September call-up anymore. It goes from 26 to 28. So they got 2 guys, 2 spots to play with and see what people can do. And I don't think you got a deep enough bench, and now you got the DH where you're not going to see just spot fillers, pinch runners. You're not going to see a Tim Locastro. I'm sorry, Brooke. You're going to see guys that are potential arms for the bullpen and potential taxi squad guys for October in the bullpen. So you're going to see, if he's healthy, a Kahnle and possibly a Victor, who they say he's on the mend.
Bobby Miller. What about Bobby Miller?
He doesn't have
The people in the chat love Bobby Miller.
Joel's talking about Carson Fulmer as well. I think they just they're not ready to. It's not so much ready to start the clock. B-Milled has not had a phenomenal year.
Miller time.
It's not Miller time in 2022.
Still pretty raw.
Michael asking about Danny Duffy. They say he's a human. I've seen him once in my life.
Renteria, Danny Duffy is a mythical creature.
I saw that one earlier. Good
Mythological creature.
Mythological creature. I don't think Danny Duffy has any role on this team. And if he finds a way to make it healthy, get healthy enough and make it to pitching in any games in September, I'm sorry, I'm not throwing Danny Duffy on the roster over David Price.
Even though he's from Goleta, another local guy.
Listen, the only good thing
Bickford.
about Goleta is Freebirds. Just saying.
Technically an IV, but yeah, I got you. I think a lot of people would agree
No.
with you. No, okay.
I'm right because Google Maps says Goleta. I've been there, bro. Do you even lift, bro?
Kevin Pillar gonna try to come back. Kind of sounds like
He was hitting off tees today in Arizona. I am terribly self-aware.
I love that guy has the stones to drive to Arizona to hit off a tee instead of watching the best team in baseball from the dugout for free.
Right.
Because that's what I would do.
He could have just the the best front row seat in baseball to watch his team, and he will in October because he ain't gonna be on the roster.
Just to get to watch a Dodger game with Hanser Alberto just sounds like a dream to me. And yeah, I would love to do that. Danny Duffy, we talked about him. We obviously covered Dustin May at length. And then last and maybe most importantly, not the only one, someone's going to throw out some obscure player that's been injured. You guys didn't talk about this guy. Yeah, we didn't talk about him because he ain't Walker Buehler.
Yeah, they say, where's Trevor Bauer? Well, there was an update, and they say, oh, perfect time. Mr. First Cat Free Bauer. That's when you know you've been doing this shit for a long time. Bauer, the update is, per Bill Shaken, LA Times, they are not expected to get through the appeal process before the World Series. So there's not a chance Mr. Bauer pitches for a major league team in 2022.
And that's all we have to say about that.
And we're going back to happier things. Butane, the Buell dog, Walker Buehler.
Buehler's day off.
He's playing with the ball.
He has thrown the ball to somebody else. And this is
Look at me, I'm Walker Buehler. I didn't throw it to anybody else. Props.
He played catch. He did not have.
He had a catch. 120 feet.
I'm triggered. You don't have a catch. You must be watching. You must be watching the Field of Dreams.
I really hope Doug is out there asking the guys at the ping pong tournament. Is it
all-star
play
style
catch or have a catch?
Hope he's not screaming in the microphone like I did. Walker Buehler working his way back. I think it's still there. I think there's kind of labeling it as September for Walker Buehler, but we've talked a bit about a roster crunch. He might even come back as a reliever because he may not be fully stretched out, which would be interesting.
Andrew Friedman kind of hinting on that at that over the weekend.
Isn't it kind of concerning that his reliever numbers suck though?
2017. 10 games.
He was a young lad.
He wasn't
ready for the big show.
He was a young, supple boy who was trying to throw everything 102.
Do you miss that guy sometimes, though?
I would say I missed 96, 97 Kershaw with no slider just because of the velo.
Man.
But 2008 aside, Walker Buehler's going to have a spot on the active roster in some way, shape, or form. He may not be built up, but it's Walker effing Buehler. Sorry, kids. He's going to get... That's a good poll, by the way. He's going to get a spot on the roster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying he should. I'm not saying
now, think about the sneaky potential of Walker Buehler as a goddamn closer for this team. That's just spitballing and thinking aloud.
Your proclivity for inserting guys into the closer role for October is...
It's pitcher by committee.
It's one of
Why
my favorite
not?
parts of the show. It's like insanely good pitcher. Let's make him the closer. I'm not telling you no. I'm not telling you no.
I take his fastball and curveball over Kimbrel's.
Can I give you a caveat?
Right now. No, I don't like caveats unless I have coffee with them.
Pick 3 pitches if you're gonna be a closer.
Fastball, curveball, slider.
Yeah, you don't need your other 14 pitches.
No,
I'm
he's
sorry.
fine.
Just focus on 3 and make them good. We talked about it. That was my theory about his whole 4-seam fastball trouble. I do not mind Walker Buehler at all as closer. That could be our answer. I feel dumb. I feel dumb for not talking about doing the October closer segment, but
it's not even necessarily that he's the closer. He is a 9th inning option because I agree with you. I don't think we see in October. I do not think we see the Dodgers run with a guaranteed. You're probably going to get Kimbrel getting the lion's share of 9th innings with a comfortable lead. But I think it's any man's ball game. And I do believe, I feel that Dave now, Mr. Dave Roberts, is smart enough, as we get probably somewhere in the stream, a fires Dave Roberts.
Oh, it's coming.
I feel that Dave is smart enough now to not, in a high leverage game, in an important game of which you only have X amount of times you can win enough to go to the next round, or to win the piece of metal. I just can't envision him giving the top of the order or the heart of the lineup to Craig Kimbrel. The same way he avoided Kenley in 20. But Kenley was much, I don't know if he's much worse, but Crumbles had his good points. Kenley was just kind of all over the place.
Game 2 of 2017 World Series against the Astros for Kenley wasn't good.
All of this sounds like a lot of good problems to have.
We're really I.E. Doyer, threw out a fire Dave Roberts tongue in cheek. He's a regular. The guy gets it.
Did Nando 390.
I think
friend of the show.
I couldn't agree more.
Word to your wife's boyfriend.
Dave Roberts has so much failure committing to guys, playing to the narrative of an October closer, whether it is Clayton Kershaw in Game 5,
which we saw in 2019.
That was brutal.
Pain.
Like I don't know why he felt the need to do that. But yes, to your point, Dave is no longer a young buck. He understands how to handle late inning situations. I think he's actually a good manager. I don't think he's A+, but that's a whole separate podcast.
I don't think there's any A+ managers out there in the league right now.
Oh, Tony La Russa. He's A+ at the bar.
Got him. Oh, because of the drinking problem.
He drinks a lot.
You know,
he looks like he's 95.
At least he really looks god awful for what 700. Listen,
great job running the Diamondbacks, bud.
At least Dave can stay awake during a ball game.
Yeah. I do want to know someone who watches the Dodger games like us, what the Dodgers' record are when Doc has a dip in versus sunflower seeds, because it is so obvious. And I don't know if it's something, maybe he alternates to like throw his wife off his scent. I don't know, but I want to know that stat.
Throw him off his rhythm. All right, final segment of the show. Appreciate you guys. It's been a long show, but it's fun. It's off day talk. We're having a good time here. We got our Hornitos. I'm having myself a fine margarita premix. Don't throw more, booze in there, JR. But what are we calling this? This is our 100-ish game power rankings MLB edition. This is going to be brought to you by the Dodgers Nation app. Download on iOS and Android now. It's free. It helps us out a whole bunch if you want to support us in another way, downloading the app. Everybody's happy. Everybody has a good time. Our YouTube videos are also on there.
All of our articles,
on there. Our articles are on there.
Scores, depth chart,
everything
everything you need. A lot of cool widgets, a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, there's actually some really cool stuff on that app. But
it's cool stuff.
We wanted to have a little bit of fun with. We were going to do this last week, but unfortunately, the Dodger family lost a Titan with Mr. Vincent Edward Scully. If you guys didn't hear or listen to our roundtable, me, Eric, and Brooke took about 20-25 minutes and just talked Vin with each other and had a good time.
Shared some stories, but it's no longer 100 games. It's now 110-ish games of baseball this season. So here are our power rankings, MLB edition. I think we're going to do this 5-1. Do we want to back and forth? Yeah.
Let's ping pong this. In honor.
Very topical.
In honor.
Very topical.
You first or me first? What you got?
It's your show. You go first.
You know what, hold on. Let me see. This is a new one, so I don't have a drum roll. I do have.
This is not a drum roll. So.
This is my. That is so. It's so disturbing.
This is Clint as an ant doing his power rankings.
This is my grab bag. Sorry. Wait, that's not. Sorry. This is my power rankings. I totally know how to read my stuff. This is my number 5 team. It's a grab bag. Atlanta, Philly, San Diego. You would think San Diego should be on top of that, and they probably are. All 3 teams have their problems. San Diego has a new-ish clubhouse they need to figure out how to mesh together. But those are number 5 for me. Toronto and Seattle just have too many holes, a little too young. That's a bad thing to say back to back, but they're not quite there yet. Toronto very good, probably gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, especially with you got an extra spot.
Yeah, I mean, all
the Mariners are kind of sneaky,
top
sexy.
10.
Yeah,
and they got. Did you know Luis Castillo got traded? There's a pull for you. Who you got?
I was aware that Luis Castillo was traded.
Important.
I like your 5. I like your spicy one with Philadelphia.
By the way, important note that we had in the chat there that I missed. Jake Lamb is now a Mariner, so I should by default have the Mariners as my AL team, and I am now doing that. Here I declare the Seattle Mariners as my American League Baseball team.
Well, you're going to be up at the stadium next year for All-Star Game.
Yes, I is.
Craig Osterberg, one of our regulars.
You guys subscribe, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up.
Please download the app.
Ding a
for the
bell.
love of God.
Tell Grandma while she's around.
Craig Osterberg, your mom will be our closer. Nice poll. Brooke's not here, but we got to read that kind of stuff. That's a nice clap for you.
Who's your number 5, my guy?
I got the Astros. They got an AL Cy Young candidate in Ben Verlander's brother, Justin Verlander. 1.73 leads all the majors. Yordan Alvarez, who is hitting like an MVP, who I will forever
got a real
be bitter
problem with that.
about the Josh Fields trade, just shipping Jordan Alvarez out. They just added Trey Mancini, but they got Kyle Tucker, they got Bregman, they got Altuve, they got Christian Javier as a starter. They look good. Cardinals, I have number
Framber's
4.
there.
Yeah, Framber. Cardinals, 9-1 in their last 10 games. Just swept the Yankees. They look damn good. They got Paul DeJong back from the dead in the minors. Goldschmidt, got Arenado. You got Gold Gloves all over the outfield. The only problem...
Theo.
You have Teo, very important. The only problem for them, did the acquisitions of Jordan Montgomery and Jose Quintana give them enough starting pitching? Number 3, I have the Yankees.
Whoa, we're ping-ponging. Oh. Now everybody's going to know you're number 3.
Damn it. I got so into it.
Our boy Trace Gallo Vargas Outman Bauer season 2022 says Ben Verlander is greater than Kate Upton. Not going to touch that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here.
I'm not going to touch that one with the standard white issue. Astros are my number 4. Importantly about the Astros, Ben, the AL West is absolute trash.
I had that note down there. Yeah.
It is trash. 3 teams with winning percentages under 450, and they have a soft-ass, tiny ballpark.
There's a team in there actively not trying to win games called the Oakland Athletics, and the Angels are apparently trying, but they have 2 terrible teams there.
Astros, very good. They you don't lose Carlos Correa and stay as good as they did. I think the numbers are a bit skewed. NOS is not the greatest. Teams are trying here. Nobody is an Oakland A in the NL West. But that division, that ballpark, the names,
Crawford boxes.
the pitching, the pitching staff has been on paper great, but they're still not names. But they're not household names. But it's also a team that has been there more than anybody over the last half decade. And you got to respect that. I just think there are better teams in the league right now. There are sexier teams than the Astros, mostly based on it's a weak-ass division.
I mean, they do a hell of a job developing
70
players.
wins doesn't mean as much to me.
Right. They still have a nice record against teams over 500. They do have, a lot like the Cardinals and the Dodgers. They just bring these kids up, even the Yankees. They bring them up and they immediately fit. So to your point, there's not a ton of household names.
Yeah.
But look, they're a damn good team. I'll hate the Asterisks forever, but you got to credit where credit's due.
My number 3, New York Mets.
Oh.
You got Mr. Met, which is big.
And Mrs. Met now. Did you see they did that?
No.
Yeah. They probably had one of those diversity, equity, and inclusion
meetings. Why does she need to be married? Why can't she be an independent Met? Why can't she just be her own person? Why does she need to be Mrs. Met? We have Ms. Marvel. Why can't she be Ms. Met?
I'm not sure. I haven't come across the marriage license. I wasn't there. I wasn't invited for the ceremony or the ring. Actually, I don't even know if they have rings on their hands. I don't know. It's an intro. At least they're making an attempt. You could say Mr. Met took a bite of the Big Apple there, huh?
Do you want a button?
No. You're good.
Are you sure you don't want a button?
No, I'm good. I know what you're going to give me.
What are you going to get?
I know what you're going to give me. The SNL.
I'm giving you that.
You got me that. Okay.
Mets for me, you just got Jacob deGrom back. That dude is, have you seen him? He's pretty nasty. Dude is filth.
Yeah.
He's throwing 102 with ease.
A lot.
Slider, disgusting.
Slide piece.
He's got to be able to stay healthy, which you'd think if he's making his debut all the way up in August, they took their time with him. Oh, by the way, they still got Max Scherzer when he's around, when he's not too drunk to rest his elbow. Best closer in baseball? Question mark. Because Diaz is getting it done. And he's got the horns. It's a good time. There's good vibes happening there. There's no more New York Rats. By the way, you got Francisco Lindor. You got the polar bear. You got Nimmo's an incredible defender out there. They got some pieces.
They got some dudes. And they have one of the best catching prospects. I don't know if they've called him up yet.
And they play in New York.
New Yak.
With all that. Sure, it's not the Yankees, but there is something to that. What do you got for number 3? Oh, we already know it's the Yankees.
Yeah, I really.
Yeah, you really.
1-6 this past week. They dropped 2 or 3 to the Seattle Mariners. They get swept by the Redbirds. A 8.80 ERA in August, and the scariest part is the fielded independent pitching is 7.70. So it looks pretty legit that they're really bad. So their all-star closer, Clay Holmes, it's kind of wild that both those teams have great closers. He has a 8.44 ERA this year after making his first All-Star game. He is an incredible closer, but he's going through it right now. So I have the Yankees number 3.
Who's your number 2?
Little team called the New York Metropolitans. The Grom already got there, but I don't want to. I'm not going to use all your points, but also in that starting rotation,
We did not share notes, gang.
they have Chris Bassett, Carlos Carrasco. They have a really nice rotation there. A really nice rotation.
For, who's their one their setup reliever? I was high on him for years. I can't remember his name right now. He used to be a starter. Now he's like a setup guy for the Mets.
I'm sure someone will jump
He's
in.
he's got like he's a big time curveball guy.
Big time curveball guy. So I really like the rotation. They have a deep
time
lineup.
ago.
They have the best closer in baseball. They just took 2 or 3 from the Nationals. They just took 3 or 4 from the Braves to kind of just take a command, their first commanding lead of the NL East. So I have the Mets number 2.
You know, the Dodgers couldn't even beat the Nationals.
Yeah, it's a
Seth
lot.
Lugo, thank you, my people. I love you. Oh man. You go back to some 2018 Blue Heaven.
Seth Lugo Clint has entered the chat.
Big Seth Lugo guy. I mean, we found pieces. Dodgers have found pieces since, but man, I was high on that Seth Lugo train. Number 1, without a doubt. Wait, I did not say my number 2 yet. Number 2, Yankees.
Yeah.
Big bats, big time veteran presence. They'll find a way. The only thing that's in an F with them is it's New York. Do they let things get to them? Does the curse of Joey Gallo really screw them that hard?
Can no Spider Tack Garrett Cole be a true ace consistently?
Oh man, that sounds like such a I don't know, an SI title, ESPN title.
Maybe it's already out there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Number 1.
You ever heard of the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Yeah. Yeah, should we break down why the Dodgers should be number 1?
They good. Scroll back like 40 minutes in the episode. We'll talk about why they're good.
Perfect week, 7-0. I know we're coming up on time, but Trace Gallo Vargas, Outman Bauer season 2022. Clint, if you are a closer, what would your entrance song be?
Oh man, imagine the stadium just popping to I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Ooh, I like that.
Like just the party that happens with that.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy myself a large derriere, so it works. Synergy. The stadium's having a good time. I'm feeling good, warming up on the mound to blow the save, lock it in for justice.
Well done. Nice pick.
You got a song? I'm going to ask you. You want me to type the comment in? So, somebody
Has anyone
asked
ever used
Eric.
have anyone ever used Enter Sandman? How about Hell's Bells?
You know who used Enter Sandman? The captain's friend, Mariano.
Yeah.
Big time Jeter guy over here. Don says Nickelback. Is there a hero who can save us?
Yeah, would it be Hero or Someday or Look at This Photograph? Oh, you know what'd be hilarious is
Well, you know a lot of Nickelback
you
songs.
like Nickelback. Anyway.
No, I don't. Who likes Nickelback? Nickelback doesn't like. Their families don't like them.
I always thought it's a total
Respectfully.
hipster move. It'd be hilarious if somehow you worked out with Warner Brothers and they just read aloud the first 4 sentences of the first book of Harry Potter for your entry song, and that was just your focus, just for a game or two. It'd be kind of funny.
You're a weird guy, Ace. Weird guy.
Yeah, I am.
Guys, here are the final thoughts of the show. Thank you for hanging out with us. This is where I like to have one final cheers to y'all. Thank you to Hornitos for this delicious marg. Do enjoy me a good marg. I need a blender. We're going to need a blender for the new office that we're moving into. But this is just an opportunity to really give some love to Mr. Marcus Lynn Betts. Dodger fans have been privy and blessed to having some phenomenal baseball players don the blue and white uniform over the years. But you watch Mookie Betts. I mean, he's the most underrated superstar in the game, I feel, potentially in sports, but I'm going to stick to what I know best. He is one of the most underrated superstars in baseball. Is it a West Coast or East Coast bias thing? Could be, but we most saw recently. That's not just about on the field. It's just what he does, in the community. He doesn't like the spotlight. We saw him in Boston where he fed the the homeless shelter with some food. I forgot exactly what that was. It's 2018, but
And did it all without fanfare.
did it all without fanfare. He didn't want the fanfare. He just goes, does his philanthropy in the shadows. He cares about people. He cares about kids. He cares about the game. He wants to grow this fine game that was named after him at the MLB. We saw him over the weekend give a bat to a kid, which is really cool. It's a heartwarming sight to see. This dude just give some rando kid. I mean, I'm sure there was something there. I don't know what the story was. I don't know if the story came out about what it was, but it's really cool. Twice in his life, he's given tacos to all of America by stealing a base in the World Series. You can't say you've done that, sirs.
I mean, he does it all. I mean, on the field, off the field, and
ma'ams.
I think that interview too, when he was in the dugout on Sports in LA, it was when he was injured. But just him talking to Joe and Oral just seems like a really great guy. I will never meet him, but on the field, in my opinion, the best overall player. When you look at the entire package, you look at just how many game-ending grabs he's had in right field, how many outfield assists, and I don't really care if he's like 7th in the last 5 years rolling. What I really care is about he has those, and I do love stats, but he has those assists in clutch situations. And that is why I think it matters. Just look at the NLCS in 2020, and that's all you need to say about Marcus Lynn Betts.
Listen, you rarely hear the national media talk about him until the Dodgers play in big games. We hear about Freddie. We know about Trea Turner because he slides. I love you, Trea, by the way.
And he's really good at baseball.
But Mookie just does not get the love he deserves for being a class of a human being. And he's a Dodger until he's age 39. Soak it up. Really appreciate this man. Essentially being and becoming the face of the franchise over still the next decade. He's barely 29 right now. So as we wrap up the show, here's one final shot. Salute to you, Mr. Marcus Lynn Betts. May the Dodgers stay healthy. May we win all the games. May we all stay healthy. And cheers to you guys. And go enjoy yourself a fine Hornitos Paloma the next time you get yourself out to Dodger Stadium. Have a drink with friends. That's what I plan on doing when I go to the game next time. So cheers, and thank you for tuning in to Blue Heaven. Find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on all the spots. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere where your podcast can be heard. And, of course, we're right here on YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. We stream on Twitch. We stream on Facebook. This is the best place to be, YouTube.
One last thing to actually pick a song. I'm picking The Recipe by Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar as my closer exit song. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for the love for the fallen Vin Scully. We do appreciate. We all miss Vin, but the best way the Dodgers can honor him is with jersey patches and a World Series ring. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Make sure to check out the Roundtable. We're probably going to drop that on Thursday morning. Keep an eye out for Designated Twitter. Keep an eye out for all the great stuff that Doug McCain is going to have rolling through our YouTube channel. If you don't already, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow this guy at RealFRG. You can follow me at EEULAU.
You got it.
Thank you guys. I did it right. Thank you guys for checking out our show, and we'll talk to you later.
Dodgers Nation on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, all those good spots.
Oh, yeah, TikTok.
See you later. Bye.